time for another edition of the Daily Racing Form, a weekend preview. And Scott, what's great is even coming off of the Breeders' Cup, the biggest days of the year in horse racing, the show does not stop. That's what's great about horse racing. No off season. I mean, we just keep rolling. And this weekend, if you look around North America, I mean, Woodbine has some good races. Churchill has some good races. Del Mar is racing. And you and I are going to focus on a great Aqueduct card on Saturday over at Aqueduct.
Yeah, there's 3 graded stakes that we're going to talk about, and all of them are very challenging on top of full field. So really good wagering opportunities. I struggled to come up with strong opinions, which usually means I can land on some prices.
Completely agree. I always see who your picks are when you send them in early in the morning. And when I know we have different ones, I know the races are challenging because we just could go in a lot of different directions. Don't forget, though, folks, it's a great time of the year to be a sports fan. We just finished up with the World Series. College football and the NFL are in full swing right now. NBA basketball and college basketball are just starting. It's a good time in LA right now. Ohtani, Luka Doncic. You got a lot of good stuff going on for me as a sports fan with my Lakers and Dodgers, Scotty. And on DRF.com, there is a bet on sports section. Our good buddy, Eric Etoff21 Sports, actually sends us in best bets every week to help some of you if you need a little bit of help with your weekly college football and NFL wagers. So check out that bet on sports section right there at the top of DRF.com, and you can get up to $5,000 in sportsbook offers. Let's get on over to Aqueduct. Race number 7 is the Grade 3 Hill Prince. Scott, I think you can make a case for everyone in here, maybe a case against everyone in here. Nobody would really shock me all that much. The one Noble Confessor, multiple graded stakes place, comes off of a runner-up effort in the Jockey Club Derby Invitational, adds the blinkers. The lone win for him came going gate to wire on the front end. And with Kendrick Carmouche aboard and the blinkers, the inside draw, I wonder if he's going to be one of the horses that tries to use that speed and maybe gets aggressive.
You would think so, but I've thought that in the last couple of starts, particularly back in the Jockey Club Derby, and the Ricardo Santana Jr. are equally as aggressive. I think he's just kind of a grinder and a plotter.
Agree.
He's going to get the inside trip here. I think a mile and an eighth is almost too sharp for him. Maybe he's getting a little bit better and he'll hit the board, but I don't think he's fast enough to make the lead unless they let him have it.
You get Thundering, who's a stakes winner. He most recently finished second in the Kent. He was close up from the outside. He backed off a couple lengths, and then he moved to the lead. He opened up a little bit. He looked like he was home free. It was a really tough beat for him last time out. He will need to turn the tables on Soleil Volant and Church and State, but he's been really competitive with them in the last couple. The blinkers now come off in here. What do we do with Thundering?
Well, I think the blinkers coming off for the first time is a positive. Maybe means, he already has the tactical speed. I think maybe it means he's relaxing better on his own in the mornings or maybe even in the afternoons. And he's getting better in each start. He's had no problem since stretching out. And I really like the trip he's going to get in here along the inside. I don't think he'll be on the lead, but there's not a lot of speed. I think he's a little bit quicker than Noble Confessor potentially if he wants to be early. You got Johnny V, who's riding well. I think at a big price or potentially at least a little bit of a price, Thundering has got a really good shot here to have an impact.
Church and State is a 4-time winner. 3 of those wins have come on synthetic surfaces. He is a stakes winner on the turf. I think for me, Scott, what hurts him, that lack of early speed. He's just not quick early. And in this type of a race, we don't really know if they're going to be going that fast early. I'm just not sure it sets up all that well for him.
Yeah, the last race, it did kind of set up for off-the-pace runners in there. He didn't make much of an impression. You could argue that was a better field for sure. I'm also worried about him having that late punch, stretching out to a mile and an eighth for the first time. That's no guarantee. So Church and State, not one I'm fond of, but 12-1, hard to knock.
Laszlo is going to step up from the claiming ranks. In his most recent race, he got the lead really without being asked all that much. He got challenged and he put that rival away. He kicked clear. Do you think he can step up and compete with this group?
It's a big ask. That's a beaten 40 claimer moving up in the stakes company here, graded stakes company. I know this isn't, a star-studded field, if you will, and he has 4 wins. Some of the horses we just talked about have less, but I think it's going to be a big ask for him.
Soleil Volant just outfinished Thundering on September the 27th over at Delaware. Man, it looked like Thundering had him a couple times in that race, and Soleil Volant was able to just wear that rival down right on the wire. He goes out here for trainer Graham Motion.
Yeah, and we saw the blinkers talked about the blinkers coming off Thundering. Blinkers came off for the first time in the Kent with this horse, Solo Gallant. What a great ride by Sammy Marin in there. The difference-making ride. You don't always say that with jocks, but I think last time was kind of the time for this one. Everything kind of went right in terms of trip. But I'm hoping his form stands up a little because I do like Thundering's chances at his price.
I believe on Saturday we have a Stars and Strides and a Stars and Stripes, both racing at Aqueduct. So if you're not confused enough, you will be on Saturday. This one's Stars and Strides for Bill Mott Jr. Alvarado has won 3 of his 4 races. We have a replay of the most recent win right here. This was in the Saranac on September the 1st. And this was a solid effort. I mean, he had a good start. He was inside. He backed off a little bit. He got a nice opening inside, and he's able to get to the front and then kind of gear down late. So I mean, he is lightly raced. He has some upside. I will say on paper, these horses sometimes get a little bit overbet just because at first glance, you look at them and you see, wow, they haven't done a whole lot wrong. I think he fits really well with this group. I hope he's not too short of a price in here, Scott. What do we do with Stars and Strides?
Yeah, I mean, I think you nailed it. The price is the worry here. He's done a lot of good things, particularly 2 very good things, win races when he's moved to the turf and stretched out to 2 turns. He finished very well in the Saranac last time, which is a restricted stake race to see in the past performances, perhaps if you look into it a little bit. But you'll see the fact that non-horses that have not won a graded stakes is kind of the restriction of those Saratoga. So this is a much higher class level for him. And he did ride a good rail throughout in that race. So while he's one of the likeliest winners, he's just a little bit tough to want to bet on, I think.
Griffin's Wharf is the type of horse that makes this race kind of tricky. I think there are 3 or 4 horses in here to me like him, Scott, where I wouldn't really be shocked, but I don't know. And it seems like trainer Thomas Morley in reading the most recent daily racing form preview, he's not really sure what his best running style is. He says he came running a little bit better when he wasn't on the lead. Said he was a little bit more flat when they put him on the lead, but on paper, he looks like one of the horses who you would expect to be close in here. I think he really fits. You do get another one of those aggressive riders with Ricardo Santana Jr. aboard, so I'm hoping he's kind of in the mix early, but and he does come out of a race that's come back live. He was behind Capitol Hill, who came back to win a first level allowance next time out with an 88 buyer. What do we do with Griffin's Wharf?
Yeah, he was up right off the pace there. The rest of those horses came from a little bit further off. So I think, he's done well since stretching out. Well, really, since moving to 2 turns on the turf. It's interesting, Morley's thought, because I think, the front end is what you think might give him his best chance. I like him to be there when they turn for home and hit the board, maybe for 1 to be better, but I should get a good trip.
Mare of Midnight feels like one of the horses they'll all have to hold off in here. I actually wonder if this distance is even a tad bit short for him, Scott, because he's been going a little bit longer and he seems like he really just starts to get going towards the end of those longer races, but he has the very talented Flavian Pratt aboard. And the thing is too, he's kind of a grinder. He doesn't seem like he has that huge turn of foot. So I do wonder if he needs a little bit farther distances than this.
Yeah, plotter, kind of grinder. He added the blinkers last time in a race that fell apart late. I think he's going to take a little more money than I would. Chad is known right along. He's managed him like he's a grinder. Started him in 2-turn turf races right away and then stretched him out to those mile and 3/8 races, which I'm always a little bit leery to take them on at face value on the form. They're a little bit lesser than some of these other races.
We round out the field with Tiz Dashing, who won his career debut, then 0 for the next 7, is multiple graded stakes place, did finish behind a very nice horse named Zulu Kingdom a couple times. Can you build a case for this guy on the outside?
Well, he's getting some class relief, but I worry about the mile and 1/8, and I worry about the outside draw here with Javier Castellano aboard. Feels like he's going to get caught wide at some point in this race, but he comes in fresh. His last win, though, was back on debut, 6 furlongs, and this is a mile and 1/8.
Looks like Stars and Strides is the horse to beat, but Scott, maybe not the horse to bet for you and I. We're going to look for value in a race where it could be a little more spread out. Talk us through your selections here.
Thundering, going to be, double digit on the morning line. Should be along the inside under a hot rider. I'll hope that he thrives here in his first try over this turf course.
I'll give Griffin's Wharf a shot. I think he could be sitting in a nice spot. We'll go 7-8-6-1 for me, 2-7-1-6 for Scott. Don't go anywhere. More at Aqueduct when we return. on the Saturday card. It's the grade 2 Mother Goose. Scott, you and I were talking a little bit. This is a race that used to run in a different part of the calendar much earlier on in the year, but they've changed things around in New York with the different schedule now, with Saratoga, with Belmont being renovated, with Aqueduct changing a little bit. So we've got the grade 2 Mother Goose, mile and an eighth, $300,000 up for grabs on Saturday. It's going to go as race number 9. And Scott, want to let everybody know that if you're handicapping this race or any of the races from New York, you can ask DRF AI. Use that QR code on your screen right there. If you have any questions about specific races, if you have any questions about wagering, ask DRF AI. You're seeing the AI tools all over. They're helpful. They make things easier for you. They make life quicker for you if you're trying to figure some things out. What I like to do, Scott, is I'll ask it on the Aqueduct card Saturday, can you find me some horses that are 10 to 1 or over that look like they have a shot? And then it'll give me like a couple for each race. Then I can go and look at those horses again and take a second look. So however you handicap, take a look at DRF AI and use that QR code right there as we head on over to the grade 2 Mother Goose. Scott, we start out with a sharp horse, Being Myself, has won 2 in a row. And those 2 races have both been after an 11-month layoff, and both of them have been when stretching out for a very good trainer in Cherie DeVoe. So this filly will make her 3rd start off the long layoff. I thought visually she was pretty impressive at Churchill Downs. She was like 15 to 1, and she won like a good thing that day.
Yeah, you don't see Cherie DeVoe horses win like good things at that big of prices. So I don't know to take that at face value, but if you do, she's a major player in here. The problem is she's going to take a lot more money off of that. She finished full run that day. We'll see how she handles the inside trip, but she'll have that man Johnny V aboard.
Grade 3 winner Queen Azteca most recently has just not been in the best of form. What do we do with her? She's kind of a wild card here, Scott. Her best races came in earlier in the year when she wins the UAE Oaks.
Well, I don't think she's shown much to be competitive in here, but the only thing I'll say is she came over last time for the Alabama specifically. They thought enough of her to bring her over for that and run her in a much, tougher field. And she didn't run well, but she didn't break well. She's given some time. Looks like she's training fine. Maybe she can take a step forward.
Yeah, she just seemed like she got outrun a little bit. Maybe this will be better second time here. We move to Lemon Zest. 3 races going long. They're all solid. She had a good start. She got the lead inside. She had pressure to her outside from So There She Was. She battled on and she won that photo for second. My concern is that was kind of the trip that she wanted. She got the lead over So There She Was, and that rival was still able to wear her down. Can you make a case for this gal on the win end?
I think she's going to take more money than I'd want. She came out of a really good debut race, and she's done nothing wrong since then other than getting beat at 2 to 5 last out. But I think she's regressed in each start. I don't want to see that in a horse or a filly that I'm betting as we're going into the late part of the season.
Our Daydreaming Girl is a grade 1 place filly, Scott, and you kind of know what you're going to get from her. She's really consistent. She always comes running. She's here angling to the way outside, and she almost wins this grade 1 race right behind a horse that you like that day in Cliquot, who is a nice 3-year-old filly. So I think for her, it just comes down to the setup. I think she's classy enough to win a race like this. If they go fast early on, she will come closing. How do you think she fits with this group?
She's super honest, and based on her pedigree, you wouldn't have expected her to keep moving forward as the distances got longer and then the turn gets added. I am concerned about the mile and an eighth and whether the pace will be fast enough. She also has to prove she's going to be at her best at over a non-parks racetrack, but she's pretty honest.
Philly Freedom is the next one up. She crushed on October the 3rd when she broke her maiden at Belmont at Aqueduct. She won that race by 8 lengths. If you look earlier in her career, she finished second behind a very nice filly named Ragtime, who's a grade 3 winner and who is grade 1 place. Scott, what do you think about Philly Freedom's chances in here?
Well, 3 you normally, I think of 2 sprints to a route. This is kind of 3 sprints to a route, which makes me wonder if she's going to get have the same impact. Chad Brown, she's bred to get 2 turns. She's got the talent. Maybe she hasn't kind of progressed as much as you would like to see, but it would be more price dependent play. And when you look at 15 to 1, that seems like, maybe worth considering using underneath.
She could be in the mix throughout. Yeah, Fully Subscribed is the next one up. She'll go 3rd start of the form cycle after a long, long layoff. And her 2 races so far this year, they're both pretty solid. She was behind Q the Duck Boats, her rival right to the outside. Then she came back. She ran a really nice second most recently. Just couldn't get to the pace setter that day. So what do you do with Fully Subscribed in here?
Well, I'm worried that she doesn't have that much of a killer instinct and she's always going to take money. Those are not the two combination of two things that
Yeah,
I like as a gambler. I wish I owned her though. She's run three
picks
good
up the
races.
checks.
She's progressed. She looks like she has a chance to win this race. Although, yeah, from a better, she just is one that I think will take more money than I'm willing to swallow.
Q the Duck Boats, most recently raced at Woodbine on the synthetic, comes back here to New York, was a first level allowance winner at Saratoga back in September. What are your thoughts on Q the Duck Boats in here?
Another one that, it's hard to find lots of holes to poke, but just maybe looks a cut below the ones that I like the most in here. The lack of speed out of the gate, I don't think is going to work to her favor in this race, but she definitely, would not shock me if she won the race.
I think I feel the same with you about Fully Subscribed and Q the Duck Boats. I don't hate their form, but I think they both need to just get a little bit better against this group. So there she is in solid form right now. I mean, you look at her overall body of work, and it's pretty good. The one race that she didn't really fire was a race coming off of a long layoff. She came back in her second start. She was second in the Grade 3 Torrey Pines behind a sharp horse named Almond Joy. And this is in the Remington Park Oaks, Scott, where she just sits a really nice trip outside of Lemon Zest and she puts that one away. She's 6 for 7 in the money. She's just a really consistent horse.
And getting better. I mean, she was 26-1 in the Torrey Pines that race, and almost won the race. And then she's going to sit a great trip in here if she can handle the extra ground. I like her chances quite a bit.
The outside runner Drexel Hill rounds out the field as a stakes winner, was second in the Kentucky Oaks. She came in running from last of 13 to finish second behind Good Cheer. And if you look at that race, Lucara came out of it to win the Grade 1 Acorn next out. Fondley won the Delaware Oaks next out. Shake Charge My Lady won the Monomoy Girl Stakes next out. But this gal does have 6+ months off now, and she will need a little bit of pace to chase. She is not fast early.
No, but maybe off the layoff, she'll be a little more keen, maybe growing into herself a little. I think she's the best filly in the field, period. But the layoff, the lack of pace, the outside post, those are all questions she's going to have to answer, which makes me not want to bet her in this race.
As we move to selection, Scott, I'm hoping Being Myself doesn't get bet all that much, so I'll put that one on top. You'll go to the very consistent So There She Was. 1847 for me, 8936 for Scott. Don't go anywhere. One more stakes race to preview on Saturday at Aqueduct. For our final segment, we're going to go to race number 10 at Aqueduct. It's the Grade 3 Long Island. We've got a lot of ground to cover in here, Scott. And if we were looking at this race last year, No So Sammy Joe was favored behind a Grade 1 winner, Be Your Best. And No Show Sammy Joe looked like she was getting ready to really take the next step. And I got to say, the last couple of races, she's been a little disappointing this year. You can see she's burned money a few times, but this is a good spot for her to try to get another victory. She did win in a softer spot at Laurel last time out.
She's hit the board in all three starts. In fact, finished first or second, all of them at Aqueduct, 5 for 11 in her career. Not a lot of speed. So we'll see if Jorge Ruiz uses his inside draw to his advantage.
Greyosh is a Grade 2 winner, but 0 for the last 6. And in 5 of those has been beaten at least a couple lengths. So not really running a lot of winning races as of late. What do you do with Greyosh here?
Yeah, it just hasn't gotten better really as a 4-year-old. And I'm worried with the lack of speed, they might shuffle back into Greyosh. She did race against the flow last time, but I think it's going to happen again.
Beach Bomb is a multiple Group 1 winner from South Africa. She is a multiple graded stakes winner in the U.S., and she has a good race right behind She Feels Pretty, who came back and ran very well against the best fillies and mares in the world in the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf. I think she's a measuring stick, and she feels like one of the top contenders in here, Scott.
Without question, coming off a neck defeat here in the way at Aqueduct. Village Voice, who ran poorly but did so in the Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Turf out of this race, won the race. I think, as you said, the measuring stick, one that I think will be very tough to keep off the board, not one I'm going to bet.
She's one of 4 that exit this race that we're looking at here too, which was the grade 3 Wyatt, Beach Bomb, Alluring Angel, Lady Firefoot, Lamora, all come out of that race. And I thought Beach Bomb was the best of those and the most likely winner. But I'll mention another horse coming out of there in just a moment. Brock Nardini is a stakes winner, New York bred filly. She's going to add the blinks in here. Scott, she will come running late. They'll put the blinks on, hoping that it just doesn't have to be so late because she has not any early speed at all.
You know, and I don't always love it when they add the blinkers on horses that don't have speed early. It might take away from the kick. I might say this a lot, but it's going to be up against it from a pace perspective.
Lady Firefoot is just one for the last 9, and I think only one of those were even top 3 finishes. So we're just talking about a horse who's just not in the best of form overall right now.
A trainer that does a very good job, so the fact she's running her in this spot means a little to me, but another one that's up against it from not only pace perspective, but also hasn't really proven herself at this level.
Immensitude is a grade 3 winner, multiple graded stakes place. She got to the lead last time out against 3 of today's rivals, or 3 of the rivals she'll face on Saturday. And we know she has early speed, but she actually does not really need the lead. We just don't really know if she wants to go this far. She hasn't won at more than 1 mile and 3/16, a mile and an eighth. So this might be pushing the scope for her a little bit.
I'm not as worried about the distance. I think she needs the lead to beat this field, but I think the fact that she's been going to the lead, she's gotten better. She's kept good company. I think she's dangerous to take them wire to wire.
I thought the 7 Alluring Angel is a little bit interesting in here. She comes off that wire race when she finished 3rd behind Beach Bomb. She was inside. She moved out to the 2 path. Then she was kind of in between. She was always just in a tough spot. She didn't really look like she ever got a chance to stretch her legs. I am a bit concerned because I don't know if the race sets up all that well for her, but I do think the bulk of her career has been in shorter races. So I feel like she could sit a little bit closer than they maybe had her last time out. What do we do with the Alluring Angel?
I think she's going to get herself in trouble again. That's her. She's slow out of the gate sometimes. She just seems to get in trouble. But I saw what you saw. I understand why you like her.
Amber Cascade is the next one up. She comes off of a race where she actually favored out here in Southern California in the Rodeo Drive. It was because she ran a really good second in the Flower Bowl behind Beleza 2 starts back, and she actually finished in front of grade 1 winner Be Your Best. What do we do with Amber Cascade, who was just a little bit flat last time after looming up wide?
Coming back here to the East, 8 seconds and 17 starts. If you're going to use her, don't do it on top.
Way to Be Marie is a stakes winner, multiple graded stakes placed. She comes out of a race behind Stellify, who won on the lead. And actually, she finished in front of Beach Bomb in that particular race. You look at her form, she's been in competitive with Heredia, Ocean Club, some nice horses who are in good form. Thoughts on Way to Be Marie?
Well, she clearly has some soundness issues. She can't put races together. She did so when she was, early on in her career. She's got the tactical speed to be in things when they turn for home. We'll see if she has the foundation.
Sheldon fans are ready for fun with flags, Scott, to round things out. Grade 3 place, but 0 for the last 7. Did finish behind Mensitude, but in front of Grayosh and Bach Nardini last time out. How do you think she will stack up with the wide post in here?
I'd love to think she was going to be finishing with a big bang.
Oh, da-dunch.
But the inside trips last 2, she didn't finish with a big bang. So I'm going to think that that's probably unlikely from the outside.
And as we finish up the show, we move to selections here. Scott, I'm going to go with Alluring Angel on top, 7-3-1-9 for me. Scott will go with Immensitude on the lead, 6-3-7-8. Whoever you play, however you play them, we wish you the best of luck. We'll see you next week on the Daily Racing Form Weekend Preview.